Memoized. Memoized. That's the term of this section. Memoized handler in React. And I have no idea what Vero is talking about, honestly. I had to kind of look up the definition, which I usually try to avoid. I just try to use just the book by itself and teach that way to keep things simple. But every once in a while, I just have to look up what he's talking about. And he doesn't really he doesn't mention, he does a great job with the book otherwise. But in this case, I feel like he forgot to mention what Memoized is. And here's the definition that I found online that I think is perfect. Memoization is an optimization technique used to primarily speed up the programs by storing the results of the expensive function calls and returning the cached results when the same inputs occur again. Perfect. Honestly, it's perfect. So when we make those API calls, there's, I guess, a way to, use cached versions of the data if possible, when possible. So with that said, let's get to it. All right, so here we are. This is our app. I like to minimize the content, the bodies of things, because it's a lot easier to look at the code that way and make sense of it. Easier in the terms of it makes more sense. And what we're going to do is let me see, what are the changes? Okay, cool. So let me see. Where are we going to start? Let's start right here. And what we're going to change is constant. Where is it? I don't think. Oh, it's in the React use effect. I'm in the right place. And okay, we're gonna move everything. We're gonna create a new function here. It's gonna be called handle fetch stories. Right, it's inside the app component, right? And this is using React's use callback, which is a memoized, what's the term here? Which is a memoized handler, and I want to use the correct term. And we're gonna move everything inside of that. So this is the one, I guess, that handles caching, based on my understanding, and I could be completely wrong. And we're going to move everything inside of it. So everything from line 66 in my case to 83, not inclusive. We're going to move it out of there. And we're going to move it inside this use callback. Okay. Now, in the use effect, this is interesting. We call on handle fetch stories, which looks a lot cleaner, by the way. I like that. Whenever you create components like these, modularize, I love it. It's incredible programming. It's the best type of programming when everything is a thing, a small thing, and you can use it, reuse it in other components and other parts of the code, which is really genius. And then here we're going to change, instead of search term, we're going to, I guess this is how you're supposed to do it. I don't know the details, but I guess you're supposed to keep track of handle fetch stories. And handle fetch stories, one part that I'm still missing about it is, let me see. How does it work? So here's the curly braces, the body of the use callback, right? Or I should say of handle fetch stories. And that ends right there. And I guess the second argument is what we're keeping track of. So here you put in search term. Isn't that interesting? So here you put in handle fetch stories, and here is search term. And I think I got it. Let me make sure. I wonder if this works. Refresh. Oh, it's kind of slow. The log looks clean. Huh, I wonder what's going on. It's kind of loading. Well, in the meantime, let me pull up his code base for this section, make sure I got it right. So I'm looking at his handle fetch stories. Did I do that part correctly? It's inside app. I think I got it. Search term, that's what he has. React, use effect, handle fetch stories. I mean, I think I got it. Is it just... Why is it so slow? You know what? Let me close it. Let me stop the service. Let's do an npm start. Let's see what happens. We'll either get an error or it will hopefully load successfully within a reasonable amount of time. Oh, there we go. It was the latter that was correct. There we go. Works great. All right, cool. Interesting section. Still don't completely understand it yet. At this point, that's okay. I just want to move forward. And you don't have to make sense of everything right away. Try to make as much sense as you can, just like I did with looking up memoized handlers. So that was the right move to make, to look that up. But yeah. All right, guys, stand by for the next section, and please don't forget to subscribe and spread the word if you want to learn React and you are not a newbie. By the way, this series is for people who have a little bit of programming experience, maybe already a developer, maybe not. In my case, it's just somebody who's getting into React, has struggled with React because there's so many parts to it. So yeah. That message kind of distracted me right there. But yeah, so again, it's for people who want to get into React, know a little bit about programming. I don't think this is completely for programming noobs, this series that I'm creating, but it's also not for advanced developers either. Somewhere in the middle. All right, guys, take care. Stand by for the next section. Bye.